Hi everybody, it's Miss Jessica from the Tech at Lowell Branch Library, and welcome to another Tech STEM Minute. Today we are going to be doing an experiment I like to call Walking Rainbow Water. For this experiment, all you need is 5 glasses or jars, just something to hold water, and you're going to have 3 of them already filled up with water, leaving just a little bit of space at the top. Some paper towels, and some food coloring. To start, go ahead and line up your glasses like I have mine lined up here so that every other one has water and the 2 that are in between the ones with water are empty. And notice this time I also put a towel down to help prevent messes. Next, we're going to grab our food coloring, and I'm going to start with the color blue, and I'm going to add about 4 drops of blue food coloring in there in that first jar. And then in the middle jar, I'm going to add about 4 drops of yellow food coloring. And in my last jar, I'm going to add about 4 drops of red food coloring. We're going to stir them in. And you can use other colors if you like, just don't use the same color twice. Also, there is something cool about this combination of colors, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm not going to tell you what is cool about them, but think about what happens when you mix blue and yellow, and what happens when you mix red and yellow, so that gives you a little hint, but that's something to keep in mind if you want to use other colors as well. Now that I have all my food coloring stirred in, and all of my glasses that had water in them also have the added food coloring, and my ones in the middle are still empty, it's time for our paper towels. So I'm going to grab one of our paper towels. I just have the half sheet. You can use the half sheet or the full sheet. Just any paper towel you have at home really works fine. And what you're going to do is take your paper towel and fold it into a thin, long strip that is about 1 inch wide. So I'm going to fold mine over about 2 times. I'm going to make that fold a little better there. There we go, and it should look about like that when you're finished folding it. And once you've folded it, you're going to fold it again in half this way now, kind of like a V. And then you're going to take that, turn it upside down, and you're going to put one end in a glass that has water in it, and you're going to put the other end in the jar next to it. That's empty. And we're going to keep doing this until all of the jars with water are connected to the empty jars. Now that I have all of my paper towels in place and all of my jars with water are connected to one of the empty jars that are next to them with the paper towels, it's time to let our experiment do its work. If you look closely at the paper towels, you will already see a little something happening. The water is getting soaked into the paper towels. But this is one that's going to take us a while to see the full effect. So long, I'm not even going to be able to do a time lapse for you, unfortunately. It's about 4 p.m. right now, and I'm going to leave this overnight and check it tomorrow morning. But if you do this at home, you should be able to see some pretty good results in about 4 hours. While we wait, go ahead and make a prediction about what you think is going to happen as the water keeps getting soaked into the paper towels. What do you think this is all going to look like in the morning? How is it going to be different? We'll find out, and I'll see you guys in the morning when we check on this again. It's the next morning now, and here's what we have. It looks like the paper towels definitely got all soaked through with the waters and the colors of the jars we put them in. So like this paper towel that was in the red jar definitely looks red. And this one that was in the blue jar looks blue. And these 2 that were in the yellow jar look yellow. And if you look at the jars that were empty, they now have water in them too, right? And in new colors. If you remember my hint about combining colors earlier, this is what I was talking about. The dyes combined to make new colors. The red and the yellow made orange, and the blue and the yellow made green. And it even looks like a rainbow of colors, hence the walking rainbow water. So how did the water end up in the empty jars and change color too? Well, the water was able to travel through the paper towels into the empty jars thanks to something called capillary action. Paper towels are made of small intertwined fibers, and those small intertwined fibers have these really small gaps in between them. And capillary action is what allows the water to get sucked into those small gaps in between the fibers and travel through the paper towels to the other end and eventually drip out into the empty jar. This is the same phenomenon that allows plant roots in the soil to suck the water out of the soil and into the plant so that those plants are able to get water. Capillary action helps not only the water, but the food coloring we put in there as well travel through the paper towel into the empty jars. So since we had one empty jar connected to 2 jars with water that were dyed 2 different colors, those dyes traveled with the water through the paper towel into the empty jar, combined, and created the new colors we saw. This was a very slow process, as you saw. It took overnight for everything to really be able to see good results for us. But eventually, capillary action will have the water travel through the paper towel and into the empty jar for you. And if I were to leave it sitting even longer, it would keep bringing water into the empty jars until all of the jars had about an even level to them. If you would like to learn more about capillary action, be sure to check the description below for a link to the Science Buddies page for this experiment. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you next time.